It ain't sunk in yet. And do you know what's annoying as well, Jess, for me? Have you noticed how there's radio silence with non-supporters that make YouTube videos and media platforms. I've not seen any congratulations. They're just, now they want to have context. Now they want to have honest debates. And there's three sides to every story. Yes, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that are incredibly unbearable. But if we strip it back and use our common sense, one, what fan base doesn't have that? Two, you lot like to clamor our club, attack us. We're bottlers. You lot got more energy for us than your own football clubs. And then when the shoe's on the other foot and it's now time to talk our shit, you're unbearable. Now we need to be unbearable because they made up their minds anyways. Like, we've done it with a striker two strikers that nobody's really convinced with. Bukayo Saka and all of our attackers have stunk up the place for the majority of the Premier League season. Zubimendi's taken the second half of the season off. We've had injuries, we've had everything, and we've still managed to win the league. If you've got all of these criticisms about our football club, why have you not won the league? Why have you said, what is it they say as well, Jess? Our football is unsustainable.
It's just cope. Like, everything is cope. Like, every day is cope. Like,
I love it.
Cope. Like, I know that this is absolutely killing them. And the reason why I know this is because I have agendas and I have people that I don't like as well. Watching like Man United win like an FA Cup nearly sent, like, it almost killed me. Just that. So watching us win the Premier League, I know they're burnt up. And you have to make
it out as well.
Yeah, you literally have to make up. You have to make it up. You have to make up nonsense to get you through the day. They're hurt. Yeah. And I don't think we're probably the only club that could make all 5 rival fan bases just hurt.
Have you seen the new one, Jess? PGMOL has rigged the league for us and all of this kind of crap. Which I would say, I don't care, because we still had to win the amount of games. And 2, we're Arsenal fans. We're owed this. Corruption's only bad if we're not involved. You know the fuckery, pardon my French, that Mike Dean used to do to this football club and many a ref. Cry more. I didn't see it against West Ham. I never saw it. And I have to say, Jess, don't you think football's mad? As you can hear, I'm losing my voice, but we're in May. Last month was so different, it was so different. Me and you were in a different headspace.
It was so dark. Like, I don't know. In regards to the PGMOL title and all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, that trophy is going to have red and white ribbons on it. We don't care. It can't be erased. Like, I genuinely I do not care. I've watched Rodri play basketball in his own box, and win the Premier League. I've seen many a thing. I've seen them not draw the lines against Brentford in our first title race. I saw Mateo Kovacic, like, 2 red card tackles, one on Declan Rice and one on Odegaard at our spot, and nothing happened to him. I don't care. I don't. So, what did they say? What do they say? It all comes out in the wash, when some things go against you, some don't. Stop whining. Like, I don't care.
Get on with it. And now we've got on with it. Oh my God, we're pushing and fouling everybody in the box. We've only got set pieces. Do you know what's so beautiful about this season as well? The first goal we scored was from a set piece. The last goal, Clinical Kai, was from a set piece. And there's just so many agendas. People can't talk about Martin Odegaard now. It'd be fair to say he's been part of this team that's, at the Emirates era and won the first trophy of that stadium. He's done it with a dodgy ankle. He's a generational captain now. There's so many agendas. Do you know, there's 2 players, 3, big up Rice. I'm so happy for Bukayo Saka. And I'm so happy for Magalhaes, because they started, obviously others, but they started this trajectory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's several people. Like, I think you think about, like, Gabriel was pretty much like the first person in this project actually had to play with a bad, like, that's the thing about Gabriel. You can never talk shit about him because he literally played with, like, the bad group. Like, no offense to that group, but, like, it's not the team that Saliba came into.
He got out the mud.
Yeah, Saliba came into a team that was already, like, that had Gabriel, that had Ben White. Gabriel was in the trenches with us, Martinelli and Saka.
Before the teeth and the hairline as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Saka and Martinelli grow up. They were like, what, 16, 17 when they came into the team. They were kind of the first iteration of this group as well. Arteta, basically people calling for his head, wanting him sacked. Like, did he lose the dressing room? Started playing these, the younger players, and here we are, and they're going to lift the trophy. And then you have the Ben Whites and the Odegaards that joined us when we were not great. I remember that summer window. We got Ramsdale, we got Tomiyasu, we got Odegaard, we got Ben White.
I remember the first game of the season as well.
Yeah, we got Sambi Lakanga and Nuno Tavares. And it was like a lot of players, but it was kind of like, is this going to work? Like, what's going on? And, I think Tomiyasu is super unlucky to have the injuries, but he was a good player. Ramsdale, it just didn't work out. Like, we got a better goalkeeper in the end, but Ben White and Odegaard, like, they joined us when, it wasn't pretty. Like, it really wasn't, and I think that
we were shit. Let's be honest. We were shit.
Yeah. There's a core group that I feel like definitely kind of started this whole thing and has been here for, let's call it like at least 4 seasons, and then we've added these other pieces that are just as important, but it's been a long journey.
Jess, it's been a long journey, and everything you're saying when you're talking about Lokonga and stuff, visually, I'm picturing like the streams we've done, watching Arsenal, just the whole, like you said, like the whole kind of journey. I want to ask you, like, are these this collective group here, and actually the manager, like, are they Arsenal legends for you?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not saying they're Henry and Bergkamp and all these things, but are they?
No question whatsoever. Like, Kepa's right pinky toe is a legend. Everybody is a legend. I'm so sorry. Like, I know that, I had people asking me a question on my stream the other day saying, like, which one of these are legends? I'm like, what do you mean, which one of these? They're all legends, you guys. We haven't won
Emirates era PL
2004. So when you haven't, right? I hate to liken it to Leicester, but in that same way, where it's like when you don't win for a long time and you get over the line or you do something special, which this is very special, it's instant. It's instant. I'm not hearing nothing about no cold heroes. I'm not hearing anything about we're going to cherry pick certain people out. Every single person played their part. Every single person played their part, whether
literally
it was 1 goal, 2 goal, an assist, a block, cheering from the sideline. I don't
big up own goals as well.
Yeah, own goals, legend, win, legend. Everybody's a legend, and I think that's just what it is. Like, they're all legends. Especially in my eyes, everyone's a legend.
You're right. You can't not say they're not legends because there's things we're good at, we're bad at. Obviously, Arteta's been here 6, maybe bordering on 7 years. We've, as you said there, we've been fighting for a title for 4 years. There's all of that kind of stuff like isolated to this group, but then there was the backdrop of you haven't done it for 22 years. There's that kind of pressure and all those things. Now, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, and I agree with what you said with everyone being a legend. Yeah, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. But if we just assume like everything we've seen up until this point, it happens next year. Do you have confidence that when we're in those kind of moments, they've got it over the line, they're not going to crumble, they're not going to get scared? Because the first one's always the hardest, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think, I was talking to a friend and I was like, the reason why I feel like this was such a hard feat and why it's so special is because they're not fighting just like them, like for themselves. Like, they're fighting generational trauma from the moment that we, signed the lease on the Emirates. It's
100%.
many, many, many years, like not just when they were in the team, but like there's been a lot that's happened since we've gotten to the Emirates. And so getting that first one over the line, everything kind of fighting against us, like, it's tough. So we also have a big group of people that outside of like the odd Hincapié or you
said Hincapié, and I'm sorry to cut you, but you said Hincapié and flashbacks of stuff I didn't want to see in the last game. But yeah, go on that.
But, haven't won a league title before, so it was a first for a lot of people. And I know it's like, well, Arteta was in that Manchester City locker room. It's not the same. It's not the same as you leading everything, you carrying the entire burden, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, they were fighting demons the whole time. because I think they knew if they won, it wouldn't just be like bringing a trophy home. They were going to be instant legends at a club that we all know that they all really do love and care about, and they're going to change all of our lives. Like, do we not all feel like our lives have been changed? Like it's a lot of responsibility. So yeah, in hindsight, of course, like, I can see that with clear eyes, but in the moment it was just so crazy. Like going back to what you said about just a month ago, I felt like my world was like it was over. Like I was
Remember
like,
Bournemouth?
Yeah, Bournemouth. Like, but shout out to Bournemouth, by the way. Like,
big them up.
Yeah, I respect a club that it's not just let's just get one over on Arsenal. They played us, hard, and they also played City hard.
Don't forget they were fighting for Champions League.
Yeah, always the same thing. Like, they didn't just like cave and just play like shit against City. And it was just something about that game that, it was like the first couple minutes. I know that City had like a chance or two, but there was like an element of like rushed, the ball was going out quite a bit. And the Vitality Stadium is not an easy stadium to play at. It's
horrible.
Weird. Everything is closed in, and the pitch is so much smaller. It feels so much smaller. I think it is actually small. It has to be smaller.
Feels like the fans are on top of the pitch.
Yeah, when we play there, it always feels like our passes are too heavy, or you know what I mean? So I think you could just see that with City. I've never seen Rodri like that before. Falling all over the ball, kicking the ball out needlessly. I was
bitching
like,
after the game as well.
Yeah, I was like, we have them. I was like, if we get to the 60th minute and they have not scored, it's done. It's done. It's done.
When they brought on Phil Foden, I was like, yeah, they've given up. Cherky, come outside. Cherky, you need to come outside. Haaland, you definitely need to come outside. John Obi Mikel, you need to come outside. Floyd Hasselback, you need to come outside. There's so many people that spoke shit about us. And fair enough. City, been there, done it, wore the t-shirt. Pep Guardiola, a villain. Happy to see you go. Great manager. You done a domestic double, which is a terrible season for City, such as their standards. But I know if the shoe was on the other foot and we had to go to Bournemouth and win, we know the result before. Again, people are not deep in it. They call us bottlers. I'm never going to fight you, because we won the Premier League. But you don't call us bottlers. City out-bottled the bottlers. That takes some work. We even opened up the window for you. Do you remember just when we was talking about, we should be 8, 9, 12 points clear if Mikel Arteta did this against City or against Liverpool? Why did he play Kepa in the cup final? There's so many bumps and bruises. But at the end, winners win and losers explain, man.
100%. It's just getting one over on them. And I think, just like a side note to all of this, like winning a Premier League, no matter when it is, it's amazing. But I think winning it while Pep is here or was here means that like you can't take it away from us. Like there is no, you can only start winning when he was here. He was here, and also
Facts.
If you can beat Pep to a title, because I remember how important that Community Shield game was like a couple years ago when we played them and we beat them, like just mentally, like from there we started to be able to take points off of them. I genuinely think that this will help propel this team forward a lot more, because beating Pep to a title is no easy feat, no matter how people try to, undermine it or whatever. And when you look at the landscape of what the Premier League is going to look like in the next couple of years, the managers that are there, the managers that will come in, we could continue to win things, so it's perfect timing. Perfect.
Do you think that's our time for domination then? I use the word domination subjectively because that's Pep and Fergie, but I was going to ask you that, like, is it kind of our time? Because it really should have in the last 3 years.
I think we can start looking at, the Premier League and just in general, and knowing that there's going to be 4 trophies on offer to us every season and feeling like we are entitled to at least one of them. I think we are not entitled, but we should be nabbing at least one of those, like I'm not saying that every single team is going to fall off and nobody will rise. Like we know eventually like Man United will be good again. We know that, we know that, but we also know what it's like when a big dog leaves. We've seen it even just recently with Klopp leaving and going to Slot, like things change. And so we're the most solid. We're the most complete. We have a young team. We'll now be able to really attract. I think we've been attracting great players, but we'll be able to attract better players now. This is the time for Arteta to really sink his teeth in and try to create like a legacy. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say what that will look like and whether he would be able to do a Pepper Fergie, like they're the top 1%. But if Arteta can get us a trophy a season,
if you can do 5% of what that man did, you'll be all right, you know. Starting next week by God's grace. And do you know what I like? We'll talk about Palace later, yeah. But do you know what I like about everything you said there, especially when you're saying it's not an easy feat with Pep? There was a reality. Thank the Lord it hasn't happened, in it, where Bournemouth slip up against City. City obviously win. We'll go into a horrible place in Selhurst Park. Yes, they've got a cup final to worry about, but needing to win. Of the 38 games, yeah, I've cared about 37. I don't give a monkeys about that game. Frimpong can start for all I care. Gunnosaurus can start. The set piece coach can play up front. Just go and get it. Marley Salmon and Dowman should be making their first starts that we've actually.
I care not. I care not. I do not care. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think play the kids, you know, because we have a final. We have a final to think about, you know. So obviously, I think. You know, Eze will be out there, you know, Palace fans, give him a round of applause, you know, all that kind of stuff. But I'm looking forward to seeing Max Towman. I am, you know, I feel like that's who we should be seeing. And we still have things to take care of. Like, it's actually insane that, you know, we've already hit like that first hurdle and we've cleared it. But this season could still get so much better, not only because Spurs could still go down, but we can also win a Champions League. Like,
don't forget Southampton as well. They were chatting shit on Twitter, and then what happened? All of a sudden, Spygate.
Forget them.
You're right, you know. Yeah, man, save St. Mary's. You're right, Jess. You're right. Valera, appreciate you. How was your experience at the Emirates, DG? You looked amazing. The scenes, I can't put into words. You can hear it in my voice. Had way too much alcohol. Doing the most. You've seen the clips.
I know you were having you a time. Wait, actually, we have to promise right here, right now on this stream that we will meet each other.
Yeah.
We have to. Yeah. Like, must. Like, don't take the text. You're like, oh, you know, because you don't answer. You do not answer your text messages. That's why.
Well, I will answer my text messages. I will even bring a portable charger to make sure this phone doesn't die. And I'll tell every fan, you see where the Emirates is, you see where the Armory is, you see where the small, what do you call it? The small roundabout. You see where the Caribbean shop is. I'll just stand over there, everybody. I'll appear. That is where I'm going. Appear there. We've got this, man. And if you're around the world, don't worry. All us Arsenal fans on our social medias will make sure you're there, man. But even what we're talking about here, just like it started off as a dream. Now it's a reality. Like, it's even surreal. Oh yeah, make sure we take a picture, parade, all these things. That wasn't gonna be the case this season. And we have to talk about Arteta, man, because me and you are aligned with him in that we've spoken about him. We've criticized his choices. We've praised what he did. I think we could come to a consensus that he's a good manager, tactics, all of that. But the one thing we said is, are you a winner? Every year you don't win, it's going to get bigger and bigger. He's done it now, innit? Like, obviously, I don't want to be one and done and all those kind of things, but he's absolutely done it. So, like, we got to chat about the gaffer, man. We have to give him some flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I feel like over the years, you either really believed in him and never wavered, or maybe you had some concerns. I definitely fall in the latter for sure. I definitely had concerns, and I've always said that I just want him to stamp it with the actual trophies. And he's done that. And so for me, it's like, it's water under the bridge. Arteta, he knows way more than me. He's always known way more than me. He's the manager. He's the guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think at the end of the day, we all just wanted the trophies.
Silverware. You made it a dream. Yeah, you made it a reality, literally.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, give him whatever he wants, man. Like, give him whatever he wants. I think it's just, I have nothing to say. I always said if he won the trophies, that he would not hear a word from me. And I mean that, you know, that's all I wanted. I didn't really care how we did it. I just wanted to make sure that we got it done. Because also I really was not looking forward to having those conversations at the end of the season. I
Neither was
really
I.
did not want to. I did not want to sit up here talking about who we could bring in, what is he, has he failed? I didn't want that. And
Where do we go from here?
yeah, the worst thing about or the thing about the Mikel the time between April and May is that genuinely we were in a situation where either he would be lauded as a genius and somebody that changed our lives and the guy and the guy that saved us, or a total fraud. Like, that's how bad, like, the dynamic and the black and whiteness of it was.
Crunch time, him
I
and the boys
hate
locked in, man.
yeah, but he did it, and so you will never hear anything from me. You're right, I'm wrong.
Give him a new deal.
Like, yeah, great. So
Any left backs he wants, any fullbacks, let him do his thing. Any goalkeepers, they have to be better than Kepa. The only thing I'd say, Arteta, no more of the Kai Havertz, Noni Maduekes, because going back to what Jess said earlier, I do think it's time to assign those marquee talents, whether you find the Kevin De Bruyne's, the Salahs before they ended up where they ended up in making history, or I know we're not going to do it, but if you're dropping money for a Carrot Skelly or something, because I don't think we need that much, like that many players, if that makes sense. But I do think we need to add quality. That being said, though, and that's another question to ask you, like, we were of the agreement that if we win the Prem, there are some players that need to be moved on. Like, how big is it for us not to rest on our laurels and improve the quality and not end up like Liverpool or something?
Yeah, no, I think we know we have the right manager. Now it's just about obviously not derailing what's working and not overcorrecting, but adding the right pieces. And that's where Berta and Mikel are going to have to do the hard work this summer. I fully expect people that have been here for the ride to no longer be here. I'm not talking about the Kepas and the Norgards and these guys. I'm talking about people that have been here for a while. So
Jesus, it's been real, man.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But also, I do think that there's this element of people thinking we're going to get rid of like 8-9 players. We're probably not going to do that.
You're dreaming.
Yeah, I think we need like 4 really top quality players. I think they also need to look at the fitness levels of certain players and ask themselves whether or not we can rely upon certain players in their fitness. But I will say that there's some players like I'm not talking about Norgard and Kepa and these guys that just came in, whatever, but that have been here for the journey, that risk their physical well-being. They've been here, they've played hard, and
Benny Blanco.
They deserved it. Yeah. And I would say the 2 players that fit in that category for me is Ben White and Trossard. I think both of them have, we know that they're probably going to be moved on, yet they're so important to this team. They've added so much. And so they had to leave with a trophy. I could not fathom either one of them leaving and not having a trophy, especially Ben White, because he played an entire season injured after Timber tore his ACL. And I think people forget what a top player he was before he got injured, how he risked his body for that entire season, and how he's worked tirelessly to get back. And he also played a role this season. Even if it was a small role, he played a role. He came in even after he had been injured. And yeah, don't make me cry. Like, seriously, Ben White, you have all my respect. And that's the guy, man. So I love him down.
Benny Blanco, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, Trossard, and there's a couple others. If you do end up going, it's been real. There's also a lot of fallen soldiers. Mr. Granit Xhaka, Kieran Tierney, Ramsdale, you was here. Yeah, is that Tommy Yasu, the Japanese cafe? We know about him. There's so many people that are not here in it. Like I know Wanyeri's here, but you're kind of not here. There's so many people that I wanted to be part of this, but 100%. Unfortunately, he wasn't in it. Well, he was in a small way, and I don't know what to say, man. This is a good question, actually. Yeah. Valera, I've left you up here for a while. I apologize. Where does this team rank with other great Arsenal teams, especially if they win the champs? What are you saying to that?
Well, there's right now and after you potentially win a Champions League. If you win a Champions League in the same year that you win a Premier League, you are the unforgettables for sure. and we're going to have some nasty, like we are going to be sitting here doing Arsenal 11s, and some of these players will be in that, because as good as epic and as special and historic as the Invincibles were, they did not win a Champions League, and that holds a lot of weight. So I think, we've had some really, really top teams. I don't think that they surpassed the Invincibles. I don't think they surpassed the double team. I don't think they surpassed them just yet, but literally win the Champions League and let's get to those conversations.
And I'm happy because we've actually, like, you lot, they're the conversations we can have, but you lot have made history. Saliba, Gabriel, it's not in vain, individually and collectively. Rice, it's not in vain. The whole Eze against Spurs, and Eze's lived a fairy tale, innit? From, getting released from Arsenal to what he did against Spurs to homecoming at Palace. Saka's obviously played a part. Like you said earlier, to be fair, everybody's played a part. It's nice to know that none of this shit was in vain. It's in history. I do want to ask you, though, like, who would you say is the best Arsenal side you've seen? You go Invincibles, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think,
all right, cool.
In terms of the football, the talent level, all that kind of stuff.
Who gets in for you? Like, if any, is there anyone, like, if we remove sentiment and nostalgia, is there anyone from this current squad that you reckon gets in there? I think there's a couple I cannot capture.
Yeah, Saka for sure. I think you can remove Freddie Ljungberg and put Saka in that position.
Rice is in there.
Rice in for Gilberto Silva, I think. Right there next to Patrick Vieira. I think he's in there. And I think
Timber over Lauren for sure. I love Lauren, but for sure.
Yeah,
Saliba and Gabriel, one of them in it, because I'd love to see Sol Campbell with one of those.
Yeah, for sure. Good. Absolutely. I mean, it just depends on who we're it's like you had I would say over, because at that point it was Sol Campbell and Kolo Toure, was it not?
Yeah.
So you'd probably put Saliba or Big Gabby in there. They can share that spot, because as far as I'm concerned, they are one person. So it's the Twin Towers and they belong together. And listen, might have a little conversation about Raya, because
let's have the conversation. I can't lie, Layman, I love you. Raya's better than you, bro.
Yeah, I do think that
better than David Seaman as well.
Raya has changed our lives. I genuinely think that he is one of the biggest difference makers in us winning the league or not.
Too short for a goalie.
Yeah. When we signed him, and it's specifically when we signed him, and I'll never forget the Luton game away from home.
Yeah.
The mare that he had.
Shaky.
There were so many people saying, like, we made the mistake. I remember, it was just so many games. I remember the Chelsea game away from home when Mudryk did the fluke goal over his head. It was just like, it was touch and go for a minute, but there was like no doubt in my mind that like he was going to be better than Ramsdale. But did I think he would be this? I'd be lying to you and say that I knew for sure. That is a world-class goalkeeper, and he changed our whole lives, So yeah, when it comes to, because we have to remember that there's like an in-between with the Invincibles where, you have like, you see some lineups and maybe it's like Tony Adams and Sol, and then you have some lineups and it's like Kolo and Sol. You have Layman and then you have David Seaman. I think Raya is definitely better than Layman for sure. And you know what I mean? Like, so there's some pieces that you can move in there, but Raya is insane.
And the very fact of, like, because there's some people that would disagree. It's mad. Some people would disagree and say, oh, they couldn't get into that 11. But the very fact that we're having these conversations, I have to big them up. No, you can't sing second again, ole, and all that bullshit that you lot do. You lot out-bottled the bottlers. That's crazy work. We ain't got no striker. Our striker wears jeans. Our attackers took the days off. Zubimendi's feeling sorry for himself. They said, Rice don't pass the ball forward. Rice's only good because of the defense in front of him. Hincapié is not good enough in the final third. Calafiori shit, allegedly. We ain't got a right back at the moment. We've got probably four strikers that nobody's convinced with. And despite all of this, Noni Madueke's stats are horrible. Despite all of this, we won the league. So what do you think is going to happen when it all clicks into place? That's another question for me to ask you, Jess. Obviously, we've got the league over the line, yeah? And we kind of spoke about, like, mentally what that can do. But a lot of people have said, you know what? maybe if we win the league, sexy football next season, Arteta's going to do this and that. And right now, it's just needs must. Where do you stand on that? Because I do believe it, but I don't believe it. And I'll say that to say this in the sense that if you've won a league title, you don't need to change everything. And Arteta might be vindicated to do that.
Yeah.
But maybe it is a needs must. I can put the handbrake down because Arteta has evolved in these last 4 years. He has shown me defensive and attacking football. Granted, it's still at the moment, but yeah, where are you at with that?
Before I answer that, let me just correct something really quick because I know people are trying to when we were talking about the what I meant was like our best ever 11s, and sometimes you see different people in there. That's why I was saying that sometimes you see Tony Adams in there, and then sometimes it's like Colo and Sol. So, just for clarification, I know some of them were not a part of the Invincibles.
Yeah, but no, I asked about 04. Then we started talking about Arsenal's greatest.
Yeah, 11, greatest 11. So that's what I'm talking about. But in terms of basically putting the handbrake down and evolving, right? That's basically what the question is. And do you believe that we'll do it? I guess we'll see. I guess we will see. I think a lot of people would like to see us put the handbrake down and be completely different. And I can see both realities. I can see us loosening up a little bit, but I can also see doubling down on what works. And I think to a certain extent, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think all Arsenal really needed to maybe change is being more dynamic going forward. But I think that defensive solidity will remain. Like, I don't think we're going to see flying fullbacks. I think we're going to basically be pretty much the same. And then we'll change ever so slightly. Because that's what's gotten us closer to winning the league. I think that defensive solidity will not change. And when you have the players that we have and you have Declan Rice, I think no matter what, that's going to be in there. Would I love to see better attackers? Absolutely. And I fully expect this summer for us to bring in better quality up front.
Need a left winger 100%. Some would say a striker.
We need a left winger. I think we need a Gabriel Jesus replacement.
Bring Croupy, whatever his name is.
Man. That's what I was saying. Like, as much as I wasn't like a Croupy fanatic before that game, really sitting down and watching him, I'm thinking, I'm usually late to the party though. Whenever somebody's getting gassed, I'm always very skeptical. But I can
there's nothing wrong with being late.
Yeah. So having a Croupy type replace Gabriel Jesus. He's
wearing the number 22. Barcola. This was written, man.
Yeah, Bradley Barcola coming in on the left. That's a really good start. Because I do think that we'll lose both Trossard and Martinelli. That's just my gut.
You reckon?
Yeah,
I don't know, just because what? Because you said that. What? Martinelli? Let's just say, cool. Martinelli cutting, Trossard cutting, Jesus probably cutting. I'm probably missing out someone. Do you feel comfortable with that man going? Because let's just say we bring in 2 and 3 are gone. I'm starting to get a bit nervous. I'm traumatized with injuries.
Well, I think that's the thing. It's you can't evolve without some sort of friction or that uncertainty of whether it's going to work or not. And I think really as long as we keep the core behind that, I don't think our attack can get much worse than what it is now. Because what I mean by that is it's not like they're carrying the weight. It's not like we're trying to figure out how to replace a Salah or Holland. We're trying to replace players that had single digits in goals this season. I think the main thing would be can the people that we bring in do the defensive part, and are they going to play that role and all that? But I'm sure that we can replace that. You know what I'm saying? So it's I would be more concerned if we were trying to replace a Gabriel, trying to replace a Saliba, trying to replace, but we're talking about players that have single digits this season. I think you could bring in a Barcola. We've been really linked to that Jeremy Manga guy as well.
I like him, but he's 16, 17 in July. I'm not really looking at it right now.
Max Dowman is going to play a bigger role next season as well.
Has to.
Yeah, are we ready to evolve or not? And you also have to take into consideration that even if we let's say we bring in a left winger, there's still the opportunity to play Eze left wing too. We still have those options. You know, I don't think we're going to get as many out as people think. I think the injuries probably have scared the club. I think Marino will be here. I think, you know, there's a high chance that I do not think that we're going to get rid of as many players as people think. I think it's Jesus.
I think we rip up his contract.
I think it's, yeah. So we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen with Ethan. I would love to see him brought back.
It's looking dark, Jess, man. Like, I hope there's something, but we know what's going to happen there, man.
I'm not a fan of what's being, but you know, I was a big pushback on the Miles Lewis Skelly thing.
You won that one. We're going to lose the Nwaneri one, though, man.
You know, it's I don't know.
It's looking horrible. I've made peace with it. I don't want Nwaneri to go. I think Nwaneri is one of those that Arteta would have to go, do you know what? You're my guy. You're playing midfield. You've got Odegaard, you got Eze, you got Marino, you got Kai, you got Zubi, you got Rice, you got Lewis Skelly. It's congested. Right-hand side, right-hand side, I think the guy can get games in it. But I think, for me, I want to see Saka with Dalman there.
Yeah, exactly. That Madueke signing absolutely killed him because, you know, it is what it is. My only thing would be, Ethan will eventually end up back in the Prem, but we cannot sell him to a Premier League rival.
But he
needs to go somewhere else.
Go on.
Like, I wanted to ask you. Sell him to Dortmund. You know,
because they give them drugs in Germany and then they look lit. I wanted to ask you though, because I think with Nwaneri, all options are on the table, innit? I think obviously I'm being a bit harsh, and it's not all him, but you struggled for minutes at Arsenal. Obviously, what's his name again? De Zerbi got sacked, but you went to Marseille. You're still not playing minutes. There's a reality you come back and you're involved. There's a reality where you're sold. There's also a reality where, I'm not being funny, you're 19. You can go back on loan, because I say that to say this. If he does go, if we do sell him, would we not make more money if he went on loan again for a season and he actually had a great season? Because at no point has me and Jess, but we ain't really done it off the back of performances. We've gone, why is Nwaneri on loan? If he has one of those loans, whatever you're going to get this summer, you're going to make a lot more. I want to spin the block. I want to spin the block as well, Jess, on Bacola before I forget this. I don't know. And I don't know, man. Sell it to me, because I'm convinced I'm not convinced on Bacola, Jess.